Here you have a word which is often thoughtlessly uttered, but the meaning of which no living being has ever grasped in its profundity. And so I will again let you have a glimpse into my universe, a glimpse into my great creation and a glimpse into my own self. Thereby you more realize what all your sciences, all your profound thinkers, all the philosophers have never discovered, what, however, a dependent child on the guide rope of love can easily understand. Namely this, that love was the primary factor of all that was created, and that love will always remain the sustainer and perfecter of all living beings. If I am to explain to you this word infinity, you must discard a great many studied concepts. And, far beyond all scientific thinking, you must TV to fathom the concept of this word, not in a human manner, according to earthy rational laws, but in accordance with your divine spark, as spirits and not according to finite thinking. Otherwise no seemingly finite being such as you are can ever understand the infinite God and his infinite creation. So let us begin with the word and its definition, as usual proceeding step by step. Then, beginning with a conceivable concept, one can proceed to the surmise and awareness of the eternal, infinite. What do you call infinite? Infinity simply refers to a thing of a condition without an end. Good, you can expand this concept in your fantasy however long and far you want and it remains for you comprehensible and thinkable as a concept. But this concept, applied to my creation or to my own self, is not sufficient. For now you are faced with another factor, which finds no criterion in your human brain nor is unthinkable for you because you yourselves, only conscious of a beginning, must assume everything to have one. However, this cannot be applied to me and my creation. For I and my creation have in addition to the infiniteness of the duration also no beginning. Thus the word infinite gains a different meaning, since it refers to two directions, to no beginning and no ending. For you, this infinity is well thinkable and comprehensible in one direction, but not in the other. Well, here I will help you, if you can follow my train of thought and soar up above everything earthly created, if you, as spirits, want to form an opinion of me, so as to gain an idea about the creation which is worthy of the Creator. Because for people, brought up and educated as you are, it is impossible to imagine something that never had a beginning. Therefore, everything must here be understood as divine spirit, far above your intellect, as spiritual, and even your own existence must be viewed in a different light. To be sure, man with his scientific knowledge boasts of knowing something, whereas he has really learned very little of that which surrounds him, how it continues to exist and what its ultimate goal is. In spite of all his investigations, his own life, or the vital force with which he feels, thinks and acts, is for man a riddle. How much more must everything appear strange to him which lies outside of this sphere as he, this tiny being, tries to force the concept of a creation into his small brain according to his own contrived ideas. What an idle effort and worry! Only a spirit, a descendant of mine, understands me and my creation, and this spirit every one of you carries in his heart. However, not knowing how to cultivate it, in most cases he brings it with him to the spirit realm undeveloped, as he received it from me at birth. So first of all forget your human coveting, your human existence, your human knowledge. Forget your small earth globe, forget your sun, which gives you warmth and light daily. Forget all matter and all the worlds, the number of which added up cannot ever be fathomed by you. Soar up into infinite space where all the worlds, orbiting around one another, follow their goal of perfection in silence. Soar up with me in thought, up to where the light and time are no longer limited, where the unlimited space is, so to speak, always only thinkable as unlimited. Soar up with me to where no light, no warmth, but only darkness prevails, where the great elements for all that is created are stored up. Soar up with me to the middle of this space, as it would appear to you. And if your spirit or your imagination can grasp it, You face infinity and its creator and Lord, who out of it created everything which, visibly and invisibly, lives and moves in space. And in that infinity you will then grasp how God, likewise infinite, has this unlimited space surround him, like any other thing or being, as his spiritual atmosphere, so to speak. In its midst he reigns, in its midst he created or called into being the symbol of love, out of this atmosphere the material and out of his self the spiritual world. You must learn to think about me as without a beginning. For otherwise I would have had to be created by another God, that one in turn by another, etc., where, according to your theory of creation, you would never come to an end. I have told you in another word that the atmosphere surrounding every object or being transfers to the object or being what it sucks in from the outside and again absorbs what has been utilized by the object and returned to it, the atmosphere. Here you have the key to the word infinity. The infinite space with all its beings is my atmosphere, infinite like a myself. Into it everything streams out from me, going out into infinity in order to undergo the great process of purification. For it has already become partly material through this atmosphere. And this infinite space again returns to me all that spiritual which was formed in it, is used up and has ceased to be material. Thus it replenishes my spiritual being by returning to me in other beings of every kind my love, my spirit in all gradations spiritually. In so doing, it forms the spirit realm surrounding me, where love as an idea stands before me, personified in figures and forms, all of which express spiritually what, once given them by me, is now perfected as a spiritualized spirit man or a spiritual being. You see, just as the whole atmosphere surrounding you, the aura of every object or being, is the only chain linking it to another and one can give to another what it no longer requires, so the infinite space where all matter, dissolved in minutest atoms, always has the capacity for assimilation, for the linking of like to like. When, according to the great law, the material world formed out of infinite space, in every single thing the germ and the propensity for continual transformation was already inherent. This law was once laid into everything, and thus it still follows the road prescribed for, my great creational thoughts called the let there be into infinite space only once. And everything began to move, and my spirit penetrated into the chaos, or the conglomerate of all material substances. There was life, repulsion and attraction. Formation and transformation began, and thus it will continue forever. For as soon as an atom is returned to the ether space it must seek new combinations. Consider the great worlds and that according to your chronology, millions upon millions of years would be insufficient to define their processes of formation. Look at their immense number, how, beginning with the first atom, they formed. How through mutual attraction the atoms turned into molecules, the molecules into microscopically small bodies, into cells. These again, saturated with the atmospheres surrounding them, gradually became more and more solidified, finally forming over a light, warm center a durable crust as the surface of such worlds. There the energy and the life locked up in the interior created a life of their own where, formed by the consumption of warmth and through precipitation, out of the vapors there formed water, outer atmospheres, vegetation and living beings. Look at all these worlds, imagine their immense number, their magnitude where, beginning with the minutest grain of sand up to the ultimate living link inhabiting them, man, the germ of procreation is active everywhere. Imagine the number of your short and small years for such a formative process. Imagine the expelled material and spiritual elements of a single such world globe, which later were the cause for the formation of comets. These comets must form and develop in conformity with the same laws, until also they, turned into a solid mass within the region of a solar system, continue their further course and development as orbiting planets. Imagine the great host of visible stars, which you discover with the naked eye or through your artificial telescopes. Imagine these worlds and the time needed for their formation, their necessary existence, their regular transformation, how everything continues forever in accordance with the law of attraction and repulsion, and the whole of infinity is before your spiritual eyes in its forever incomprehensible magnitude. There, as in the single seed of a small plant, or in the procreation of an infusorian, the same law is followed. This law says that forever and ever out of something spent, something new must emerge, that from level to level at first the smallest atoms become matter, and that matter in its millionfold gradations as something material is then of mutual benefit to others. That, rising higher and higher with every change and, finally spiritualizing itself, it progresses from the inanimate to the animate state and then from the animate to the spiritual life. And all that has gone forth from me throughout the great ether space returns to me, to the spiritual homeland, there to receive the prize and reward for all that had to be endured. Then the spiritually thinking being, sent out by love and led back by love, will see through and understand my omnipotence, my love and my creation. And, as a child of a loving Father, it can and will enjoy the beatitudes awaiting all those who faithfully endure, always remembering from where they once went forth and what their ultimate goal is. Just as your material spiritual atmosphere spiritually binds one to another, spontaneously trying to attract him, to make him happy, so the great force of attraction of my love acts on those beings who want to emulate me. This is how you should understand infinity or the word infinite. Infinite is the power flowing from me into all that is alive, infinite is my love, which will never cease, and infinite is procreation, which progresses from the minutest to the greatest in accordance with that same law. Thus you can understand the infinity of the worlds and of space, thus you can also grasp the great cosmic man, or the entire material cosmic system. It too has an atmosphere around it and in a vast circle orbits around its spiritual central sun, delivering up to the great ether space of infinity all that is used up and absorbing with every pace new enlivening substance. And so you see infinity, or the impossibility to annihilate even the least atom, also metaphorically in spiritual life. There one spiritual thought always evokes another, the thought creates the idea creates the word. Finally, the word creates the work or the deed, thus pointing out the spiritual creator and what he wanted to express spiritually in the material. Infinite is everything, infinite are also you. You have not begun only with your birth, oh no, long ago, even from eternity, you too have been existing, only not as human beings, as single individuals, but as matter, with the same imperishable substance as all matter. The spiritual within you is a spark out of me, of my divine self. It only became aware of its existence once the other two factors, the soul and the body, together with the spirit formed the Trinity, as it exists also in me. For also myself consists, firstly, in all that is created and exists as matter, secondly, in the entire realm of souls, which urges on everything for a purpose and, thirdly, in the divine eternal principle, which lends their eternal permanence and divine worth to the former. So we are body, soul and spirit, I on a large scale, and you and all that lives and has its being, are on a small scale, formed according to the same principles. And for this very reason the physical strives to develop into soul substance and the soul substance into the spiritual. This is, must be and will be the gamut of everything infinite. The word annihilation does not exist in my creation. There is only transformation, even if it often appears under the guise of the former. Infinite are the germs of the divine, infinite is the Creator himself. Why should his products not be marked with the same stamp? However, according to purely human concepts and the laws of human reason, this thought is inconceivable. Therefore, I led you out into the vast ether space and showed you there, as God, the same conditions which prevail among you, as human beings, and which must only be spiritually grasped and understood in their analogy. Only in this sense am I comprehensible to you. Am I close to you? Can you understand my love, my sacrifice and my patience with you? Had I not greater intentions with the world, were not the whole universe spread out before me like an open book, where I see and know everything, but also lead everything to the great goal, the union with me? According to your human judgment and concepts, I would have made your whole earth globe disappear long ago. But, as I once said on the cross, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing, so it is still today. Erring children you are, and many millions with you. You cannot grasp the great thoughts, which should elevate you above what is earthly, have no strength, no energy to soar up to where all human worldly worries vanish into nothing. For, despite all of the words given by me personally, you still have not understood what it means to be a human being, or even a child of God. Hence my words to you, hence their diversity, my explanations concerning all the created, so as to open your spiritual eyes. I have created beatitudes upon beatitudes, but not for the blind, no, for seeing people who shall see and understand spiritually who is guiding them and where he wants to guide them. I want to have seeing people in my creation, who admire my works, who shall recognize from them the Creator of the same and learn to love Him. I want to have seeing people, who shall clearly understand that they were not created for the short span of time you call life. They shall realize that they, on account of that very immortality, carry the germ of the divine within them, and also let it come into play so as to wholly understand my world and me. I want to have my children seeing, so that they, in the awareness of the meaning of infinite or immortal, may understand whose citizens they are, that they were once citizens of a spirit realm and must again become such. Of a realm where the spiritual sun never sets, but where all the light streaming out from me gives its light to the most minute atom as well as to the human spirit, if he will use it towards the cognition that he himself, as an infinite being, was created by an infinite God. So let this word again be a spiritual nudge for your almost dormant hearts, so that you may awaken from your worldly dream and clearly realize that, when your life's dream comes to an end, you will enter as immortal beings into the world just described. So be it given to you for your solace and advice. May it not have been given to you in vain, for you will have to atone for it if you, disregarding the divine laws, want to continue to live in a finite manner, whereas infinity is your goal. Amen.